then why did we start this podcast?
Why did we start this podcast?
Yeah, what's the why? I think that it's to capture like the mentality of being a coach, like kind of like that journey of like learning and then being the one teaching. Because I think that all of us are going to come to that stage of life where, like when you're younger, you're the one that's just absorbing all the information. But as you get older and you're actually like good at something, like the expectation is like you give it back to your community, and that's supposed to be like gratifying as like a process of life. But that's how I look at it. Might mean something different to you.
In all honesty, I really didn't even want to be a coach.
Okay.
It kind of just happened. But I think what it came down to was I'm still a student of the art of Muay Thai. But at our gym, we have rank levels for teaching, because to make it really clear, there's no like belt system in Muay Thai. Not like Kempo or like Taekwondo. But our teaching system, we do rank because it gives the students something to work towards, goals and stuff. And that's one thing I love about One Kick's gym, because Master Nick has One Kick striking system, and it basically just brings you throughout like your levels. You get matched up with people your level and then you get put in with people that are higher level than you to push you. So it's just a good way of teaching. But I went through Master Nick's system. Before I even got to One Kick's gym, I was already fighting, or I already had fought, I should say. But I did come to One Kick's gym because I knew it was a fight gym.
Mm-hmm.
And then
wait, what does that mean, a fight gym? Like they actually like actively fight?
There's gyms on every corner in Vegas, right?
Sure.
So, but there's gyms that are tailored to cardio, or for example, your regular fitness gyms where you do weights and run on a treadmill. Mm-hmm. But at One Kick's gym, it's a fight gym because we raise and put fighters out there, like real fighters, professional fighters that have fought in really high caliber promotions, in Muay Thai and MMA. We even have boxers. So, and these guys are all pro. Another thing that I love about One Kick's gym is when I was coming up in the Muay Thai world, there were only 2 gyms in Vegas that had shows.
Okay.
Where local fighters could like test their waters. Yeah. Okay. Like, they were able to see if this is what they wanted to do. Because a lot of people put on a glove and then they're like, oh, I want to fight. That's anybody who probably, I wouldn't say anybody, but most people who fought, there was some point where they put those gloves on and were like, I want to fight. And 95% of them never did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like,
yes.
So, because fighting isn't for everybody. Like, you don't know you love it until you do it. Mm-hmm. Everybody wants to do it.
Right? Yeah.
But like actually going in there and going through the process of fighting is a whole different thing. So One Kicks and Master Toddy's were the only 2 gyms when I was coming up that were doing shows where they were putting on their own students versus like local and maybe the tri-state area, like gym, like people from Arizona, Utah, California. They would come to Vegas and, you would fight somebody from Master Toddy's or fight somebody from One Kicks. And so, or they would matchmake and have, different gyms from different areas fight each other, but on their shows.
So it makes it more real, like it's a gym that's designed for like a realistic fight scenario, or even like professional fighting track.
Yeah, it prepares people for competition if you want to fight. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But if you don't want to fight, that's fine too. Like,
yep.
Everybody has their own reason for Muay Thai. So, really, the definition of fight gym, I guess, would say like we teach the art of Muay Thai, we teach the art of boxing, we teach the art of MMA, because you might come to One Kicks gym and not want to fight, but you're going to learn how to. Regardless of if you're there for cardio, we're going to teach you technique. We're going to teach you, tactics. We're going to teach you whatever it takes. Like if you really did want to fight, it's helpful. As opposed to like, for example, I started off at a cardio kickboxing gym. Like I didn't even know I wanted to do Muay Thai. I didn't even know what Muay Thai was when I got into Muay Thai.
Wait, how old were you when you started kickboxing?
God, 2000. I think. Well, actually, it was 2000. I was like 32 years old.
That's badass.
So it was like, so what really happened was, I like just 2007 was a really bad year for me in terms of health. I was not in shape. I was drinking a lot. I kind of fell into some other bad vices. And 2008, I just was like, I just gotta clean up. And going to a regular fitness gym just wasn't doing it for me. I would say like a lot of cardio, but like you get bored. I get bored.
For sure.
Like I'd be on an elliptical for 30 minutes and I'd just be like, okay, I worked out, now what? And so this cardio kickboxing gym opened up near my office. And I figured at the time I had a lot of anger issues. Like I didn't have an outlet. And so I thought maybe I'll go hit a bag, take a class, hit a bag. It'll be fun and it'll, the fitness aspect will come into it. And I'll be letting out aggression. So I did go to this gym that opened up around the corner from my office. And it was just, something different. And at the time, the instructor that was there, beautiful blonde lady, we're in Vegas, so you never know where these instructors or people come from. But I loved her classes. And we were doing a bag class one day and she just came up and she was like, you look like you could fight. You want to do a Muay Thai fight? And I'm all, okay, what is it? And she's like, it's kind of like kickboxing, but you get to use knees and elbows. And I'm like, okay. Yeah. That's the short story about it, because I remember going to this cardio gym, and when I started, I told my husband, don't worry about it. I'm just hitting a bag. I would never fight. That just didn't happen.
So what happens?
This instructor apparently had fought in Muay Thai, and she used to fight for Master Toddy, who was one of the original Muay Thai gyms here in Vegas.
Oh, cool.
And she also fought for Master Nick for One Kicks gym.
What?
So, yeah, it was really
wow.
It was just kind of weird.
Yeah,
like all the stars aligned, I guess. So like, she's like, "You want to try some Muay Thai?" I was like, "Sure." And then I think maybe 3 months in, I found myself standing in a ring. I still didn't know what Muay Thai was, but she brought me to a Master Toddy show, and I went in there. I didn't even know how to kick yet. I went in there. I knew how to use my hands, but I go in there and I'm literally fighting this girl that's been training. And when I say girl, I'm talking about like, I'm 32 and the girl's like 17.
Oh.
And I was like, isn't there any rules that like we're not supposed, isn't there like an age thing? And no, it was just your weight and your skill set and your record. And, I was very unfamiliar to the fight world in that sense. Because it's really common that you'll see like these younger fighters fighting somebody who's like twice their age.
That's true. That's true.
On one fight, Friday night fights yesterday, it was a 17-year-old.
Really?
Yeah.
I missed that one. Oh my God.
He was fighting, but like, it really just depends on your skill and your weight class. And so I fought this girl who had been training for about 1.5 years. And I literally was like 3 months into hitting a bag. I wouldn't necessarily say I learned Muay Thai. I probably sparred once and hit some pads before I got in the ring.
Okay.
Um,
I didn't know if you won so bad. I need to know if you won against the 17-year-old.
I won.
Okay. 3 months to a year and a half is solid.
I won. I would never suggest maybe. I probably would suggest that the next time somebody wants to fight, like go in with a coach that is like a real, Muay Thai instructor, not necessarily a motivator. Because I didn't throw one kick in that fight. The fight was supposed to be 3 2-minute rounds, and it lasted a minute and a half.
Dang.
But I won't say it had anything to do with skill. I think it just had to do with the fact that I was 32 and I'm already a mother and a wife, and I wasn't going to get knocked out by a 17-year-old on my first fight. So, mama strength has a lot to do with it.
That's true. That is so true.
But yeah, that fight, I won it, but I didn't walk away like, "Ooh, I won. I'm going to be a fighter for life." It was like, I walked out of that ring and I was like, what a rush.
Oh,
I think I like this. And so at our gym, there were a couple of girls that would rent the ring.
Oh, okay.
That were real Muay Thai fighters, like professional.
Oh, shit.
World champion Muay Thai fighters.
I didn't even know you could rent out rings, but that's really cool.
Well, they rented the ring. They worked out a deal where they rented this ring because they lived in Anthem, and they just needed a place to train.
And it was a boxing ring, or
yeah, it was a boxing ring in our cardio gym.
Okay.
So it was a really weird situation, but I saw these two girls sparring in our ring, and because I had already just fought, I was just like, well, that's what it's supposed to look like, And so I sat there and watched them fight or spar, I should say. And I recognized one of them because the instructor that actually threw me into Muay Thai used to be on this show. It wasn't a big show. It was like a YouTube show, I guess.
Okay.
But it was called Fight Girls. It was actually not even a show. It was like kind of like a movie. But there were like 5 girls on this show, and women in combat sports during that time, which was around 2007 and 2008. It was there, but it wasn't nothing like it is now.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I was very intrigued by this show when I put my boxing gloves on, because I was like, there's girls that fight. This is how they do it. Well, my cardio kickboxing instructor was on that show. And
oh, snap.
So the girls that were renting the ring, they were on that show too. And so I recognized her right away because, number one, she was Filipino, and I'm Filipino. and so I recognized her. It was Christine Toledo. And I think she was already a world champion, like a professional world champion in Muay Thai. And I just watched her, and it was Patty Turan, who was the other girl she was sparring, both Muay Thai pioneers for women. And watching them spar, they were so graceful and technical, and it was just such a beautiful thing to watch. And I would sit there and just gawk at them, basically. And I was also starstruck because, you see somebody you saw on TV and you're like, oh my God,
Yeah.
And so it was, I would watch them spar when they were in the gym. And then one day, Christine came up to me and asked me if I would help a friend of hers spar. And I was like, me? And she's like, yeah, she's getting ready for her first smoker, which is like a smoker is like a amateur fight.
Okay.
Like you know,
Why do they call them smokers?
you know,
Just get you warmed up for the day?
maybe. I that's a great question that I probably should know as a Muay Thai coach. But we just call them, they call them smokers, and like they're amateur fights because you still wear headgear, you still wear shin guards.
Okay.
I don't. We didn't get to throw elbows.
Okay.
You don't get paid. You know, it's just for the experience.
For the honor.
It's one of those dip your feet in the water type of thing. This is where you find out if this is what you really want to do or not.
Okay, true.
Because just like Mike Tyson said, everybody has, you know, a plan until they get hit in the face.
Yeah.
And so, and let me tell you something, headgear or not, you're going to get hit in the face.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it was an interesting thing. So Christine had asked, would you like to help? And if you help, I'll give you some pointers. It was an immediate yes for me because I was already starstruck that it was Christine Toledo. I had watched her fights online. I knew she was a world champion. And so I was like, yes. And so
that's cool.
She was doing sort of this movement. It was like a clothing brand, but it was more than just a clothing brand. It was Alias Fightwear.
Yeah, I was looking at the tank top back there. Yeah. Yeah.
And her partner that was doing Alias Fightwear with her was dipping her toes into Muay Thai as well. And so she was getting ready for her first smoker fight. And I had one smoker. And so that was a perfect opportunity, right? You got two people, same level. It was a body. You know, we could go in there, we could spar, we could train together. And who wasn't going to take like free advice from Christine Toledo? So
yeah. Honestly, it kind of reminds me because again, I have limited fight world like metaphors or comparisons, but it reminds me of like in Physical 100. You remember how they had what? It's not Yang, right? It's not Yang. It's everyone called him like Daddy something.
Oh, I remember that guy.
Yeah. Yes. Whatever his name is. But it's like how everybody just they wanted an opportunity. Like they knew they were gonna get their ass beat by him, but just because they looked up to them so much, they're like any opportunity to even engage with you is like such an honor. But like, yeah, that's awesome. Like I totally get that. Like that dedication of like that is really cool to be even invited in as a participant.
Absolutely.
Like that.
And so, I helped out a friend for that smoker, and started a relationship with the girls. And then I had to move back to California abruptly. Like, and when I say abruptly, I'm like in a day. Like I called them and I was like, "Hey guys, sorry, I got to go back to Cali." And so I ended up going back to California, but I stayed in touch with the girls. And Christine was amazing and was like, "Hey, you know, while you're getting back on your feet over there in the Bay Area, I'm going to send you a bunch of Alias Fightwear stuff. And if you can sell it, then you can keep the money."
Dang.
And I was like, holy crap, you know. So Alias Fightwear, what I loved about Christine was, you know, as women, there's that competitiveness. Sometimes girls are a lot. It's hard to me. It's hard to find a lot of girls that you know are not like catty.
Yeah. Yes.
I've always been more like I always got along more with guys. You know, I grew up like a little tomboy. Like all my cousins were, you know, that I grew up with were my guy cousins. Because every time that like I would have a friendship with a girl, it just never lasted. You know?
Yeah,
it's really hard to find.
Something with
like drama, like, I'm not for the drama. So like I just, you know, and up to the point where I met them, honestly, like my whole life was at that point, I was a mom, so I didn't really have friends. I was just really into like raising my kids, and I was married. You know, so I was already living like a 40-year-old life at that point.
Wait, so how old were you when you had to move back to California at that point?
I literally moved back the same year I started Muay Thai. So I was still like 32.
So okay. So by that point, you were only in Muay Thai for maybe a year plus the kickboxing for 3 months? Or
I never actually, I didn't even hit a year because I remember I had my one fight in May, and I think I moved back, I don't know, sometime in August. I don't remember the exact thing, but I wasn't even in Muay Thai for a year.
Okay, so you move back to California. You have, the Christine and the team helps you by sending you some merchandise, so that way you can kind of get a leg up out there. What was that? How was that benefiting their brand? Was it just getting word of mouth out to California?
Yes, and the thing that I loved the most was Alias was a women's brand made by women. Alias basically stood for, we're all women, but what's your alias? Because we're fighters, but I'm a mom. We're fighters, but I'm a marketing manager, or I'm a fighter, but I'm like an engineer. Everybody has a different alias, and it just resonated with me because I'm always like, I'm not like the annoying feminist, but like I'm like also very pro, like girls could do whatever guys
women's
can do.
Empowerment.
Yeah,
for
I'm
sure.
super. I've just always been like that when I was a kid. Like if I was watching MTV and I saw a girl drummer, I was like, like a girl can play the drums just as good as guys can play the drums. So I've just always been about women empowerment. And
quick feminist question. There's two different types of feminism that believe that men should still open doors for you, and then there's a type of feminism that believes that men should not open doors for you. Where do you stand? You just need to answer that. No explanation needed.
I'm in the middle.
Okay.
Because sometimes women know they could do a lot of things.
Yeah.
But sometimes men have to do stuff to get noticed first because people, for whatever reason, nobody ever looks at women first unless they're looking at them sexually, and that irritates the out of me. But like sometimes for women to be noticed, as is in combat sports, guys had to do it first.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden some girls put on some gloves and like, again, I come from the era where women combat sports was not huge. Like, and I'm not talking about like karate or like taekwondo. I'm talking about like even with women boxing, because boxing was my first love. And I would watch, Mia St. John, Layla Ali, like, so women in sports, combat sports was just, it's there, but kind of like what's going on with the WNBA right now. It's like these guys are getting like $1 million contracts, but then WNBA players get paid $250,000 a year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yes. So like, we came from the era where women weren't in combat sports, let alone most people in America, they didn't even know what Muay Thai was.
Yep.
Muay Thai is a national sport in Thailand, and like it's the most beautifully violent sport.
Okay, so I have a question. Like, what is okay, so this was one of the questions I wanted to ask, but it's like, is fighting and like being into martial arts something that's not feminine? And is that also something that's culturally set? Because I don't know how like the relationship between like your sexuality and doing Muay Thai in Thailand is compared to here. Like, have women always done that? Was it a more recent thing? Like, when were women allowed to fight? Do you know? Like, I don't.
That's a good question, and no, I don't. That doesn't make me a bad coach, though.
No, I mean, like in Thailand, though, like would they, like if they saw a woman that was fighting, would that be unattractive?
It was very. I just know for a fact from my coaches that at one time women couldn't even train in the same ring as men.
What?
Like, it was
within their lifetimes they experienced that. Like,
yes.
Oh shit!
Like women had to. This is a podcast.
Yeah, organic. If you've made it this far, we are so, so grateful that you took the time to even watch the first episode of Gloves and Roses. We have a ton of improvements that we already want to make within just the process of editing and recording our first episode. But in terms of content and what we will actually be talking about, it's going to range from women's sports to feminist issues, but it's not really feminist or a sports show. It's just kind of discussing what it's like being a woman and sharing perspectives and having a good laugh with friends. So thank you so much for your time watching this, and I hope to see you back in the next video. If you found any value or entertainment out of this, please drop a like and subscribe. Thanks.